live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Of course, I do see that chat is working, so I'm not really worried. Mulgera, in Kyle's defense, he did take 2 future Kamala voters out, lol. But in all seriousness, I haven't been a fan of how the MAGA sycophants have been treating Kyle for voting his conscience. I was going to be writing Ron Paul in too. I'll make my case for not doing so in a little bit. I would say you can vote for whoever you want, though. I mean, it's his right. It's just you're misreading the room, Kyle. It's a big problem. The rise of Kamala Harris solidifies Dems' full embrace as the party of preachy females and scolding shrews. I kind of agree with this, yeah, although it's more incompetence than girl bossing, to tell the truth. So in her particular case, we will be weighing in on Rittenhouse. He's decided to write in Ron Paul and made a screed earlier, actually, about Donald Trump being weak on gun rights issues. I agree and disagree at the same time. Let's put it that way. We'll figure it out. Let's see. We've got, the stock market collapse. Japan, Nikkei 225 sees biggest daily drop since Black Monday in 1987. The largest single-day drop in over 4 years, actually, for the Japanese markets, dragging down U.S. markets, which were already being dragged, by the way, by new unemployment data, saying that unemployment has ticked up by 0.2, and that's not good. To see the unemployment rate rising and the stocks beginning to do the shaky is not the best thing that could possibly go on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk briefly about Trump wanting to stop taxing Social Security benefits. I'll be doing a video tomorrow for people that are on the economic right specifically, asking what the fuck more can he possibly promise to at least attempt? Because you're talking getting rid of the income tax, getting rid of Social Security taxes, trying to balance out trade, drill, baby, drill, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, what more do you want from the man as far as campaign pledges? Even if he only does a couple of those in the end successfully, it would still be incredible. We've got the screaming mummy story. There's an ancient mummy, and his face is contorted, sort of like Kamala when she's laughing about dead kids. And apparently they're looking at a situation where this mummy actually died in great pain. So this is not like a post-mortem deformation of the face or something like that, but died screaming, actually, with a, what was it called? Cadaveric spasm, I believe they call it. And then I'm just going to rant after that. Mulgera. Also, I've made another revolution around the sun. Clank. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Let's see what we got over here. Tigers on my totem sent $10. No comment. Thank you anyway. Soleil 333. So I think those drugs found in the White House weren't Hunter's anymore. Kamala always seems to be on something, so I'm going to start assuming it was hers. It's very possible. It's also possible it was from a journo, someone in the military, anyone who had access to the press room lockers. Mike the Womp, Clank, motherfuckers. Tarl, explain crippling loneliness and anxiety being around other humans. It's a vicious loop. Yeah. I have anxiety around other people. I mean, if you see me on the street and you're like, oh, it sticks. Hi, I want to shake your hand. That doesn't give me anxiety. That's perfectly fine. But in general, in social situations, I tend to be awkward and very quiet. I can't really explain it though. It's just, it's just the way that I am. Crusader Gundam. Hey, Sticks, any thoughts on how 85% of the Olympic news coverage is just about the female events? It's an artificial push, not even subtle. I agree with you. Yeah. It's definitely, they're pushing that for a reason. Last beacon. Did you see the Dow today? It has dropped quite drastically. Yeah, so we'll be talking about the stonks. BW, why doesn't Trump come out and directly challenge Kamala to a debate on Fox News without the Joe Biden hand holding measures? This would rob the left wing of their talking points and put Kamala on the spot. He's better going along with the other debate format, actually. He did well. And Kamala can't debate her way out of a fucking paper bag. The follow-up, what are they going to do about Democrats pausing the election and sending in millions of ballots? What if someone has already been printing them? Oh, I'm sure that they have. It's just, it's going to be a lot more ballots this time than last time, and I don't know if they have enough fucking printers. Last beacon, I believe that it'll be at 08 or 2020 levels. Yeah. It's unfortunately, it looks like we might be on the brink of a recession right now. We'll get into that. Preamble, Stexon Stixer. Atomic Nightlight sent $4.99. Thank you very much. The Aristocratic Utensil just hit 40k subs and shamelessly shilling near 30-minute video, just shredding the queen of cringe that is Harris. And yes, Styx is mentioned in it. Okay, so go and check out the Aristocratic Utensil. You can do that. RGB, I hate Harris. Happy Friday, bitches. Yes, there's still a heat wave going on, so I'll be glad when I can just, I already showered, but I'll be glad when I can go hose myself off in the garden. Ridge64, make them feel it. All money out of the banks. Yeah, well, at this point, that probably would tank the economy. Mike the Wop, mainly looking for advice. Alcohol used to break me out of a shell, but it's not worth the effects too of that drug anymore. I would try meditation, bodily meditation, not the breathe in, breathe out bullshit, fake meditation of Westerners, but the bodily meditation. And you can desensitize yourself to external stimuli. Christian Bravo. Odds that a Shapiro pick wins Harris, Pennsylvania. Trump's momentum feels like it's slowing since getting shot, worrying the right will steal defeat from the jaws of victory due to the machine and media optics. We'll have to wait until we see who the VP is, the VP pick is for Kamala. Well, running mate. I don't think she wins. And also the debate in September. Alan Tanay, Sticks, I had some Japanese raw marinated octopus the other day. Have you ever tried? Yes, indeed I have. It's delicious. Carl Tuckerson, the stonks have been inflated and a lot of companies have been overvalued based on bullshit for some time now. Agreed, and that's might be what we're seeing. It could be a foreshock. Maybe it holds off for a little while, but eventually I believe that it's inevitable. Egg Beast sent 20 Mexican dollars. No comment. Thank you very much. BW, is it bad that I wish we had a recession right before Biden gets put out of office? Or did they plan this thinking Trump will be in office? I will be addressing that directly. That's one thing that I see some people on the right saying that I cannot agree with. Wishing that there'd be a recession. Does it help Trump? Yes. Do I want that? Fuck no. Anyways, yeah, rise of Kamala Harris solidifies Dems' full embrace as the party of preachy females and scolding shrews from New York Post. I half agree. I think that it solidifies them as a party single-mindedly bent on id poll, and that most of these people don't really walk the walk. They're NIMBYists, effectively. So are the many neocons, by the way. There are, however, some girl boss, mean girl scolding shrews in the party. Rashida Tlaib comes to mind. Elon Omar comes to mind. Mainly it's the leftoids. Kamala Harris is left on economic issues, but you got to realize she was like a tough on crime prosecutor and stuff like that. Almost took up a conservative bent when it comes to crime policies until she became the actual running mate for Joe Biden. Then she inexplicably had a road to Damascus moment and did a complete 180. In this heat, you got to keep hydrated. Trust me. So, yeah, there are some scolding shrews in the party. I would note, though, in full admission, let's not be hypocrites. There are definitely Republican women that act the same way. And also men that act the same way and, act in a scold manner. And I hate all of them. And it doesn't matter what their political ideology is particularly. There are definitely people on the right, especially on the moralistic end, that will scold you as well and talk down to you. And being female gives you that privilege pass sometimes in order to excoriate and chastise other people and get away with it even though the chastisement is bullshit. Kamala Harris gets away with it more often than most. She is a girl boss scold. That is true. Let me point something out, though, and this is for political strategy. Going after her as being the mean girl, the girl boss, the shrew, etc., is not a good idea. It's not going to help you with independent voters, and it ain't going to crack the liberal frontier. They will just call you sexist for having mentioned it at all. Oh, you just don't like strong, empowered women, stuff like that. It's much easier to focus on the fact that she's tied with the Biden administration inextricably, number one. She's a psychopath, number two. Socially and mentally awkward, number three. And that she's got a complete absence of anything to really talk about as far as accomplishments as VP. Like Mike Pence would have more accomplishments as VP than Kamala Harris. These things are meaningful for the average voter. Calling her a girl boss is fodder to a group that 99% of them are already not going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Is it true? Yes. Is it politically meaningful for the purposes of switching people's minds and getting them to vote for Trump? No, not really. It's completely meaningless. In fact, it might alienate more people than it wins over, so it's a bad idea overall. Sassmaster, I'm taking the month off from Twitter and using you as my news and election news. Need my sanity. Nice. Corn Pop's Revenge. Is it a fair question to ask Camel if Biden is currently competent? Nobody talks about it, just like the Nord Stream pipeline culprit. Yeah, no, it is a fair question. But yeah, the legacy media doesn't want to talk about it. Egg Beast. If it wasn't for you, I'd be blue-haired male to female left lunatic. Thanks for teaching me to think for myself. You're very welcome, and thank you for your contribution. Atomic Nightlight. There was a worm in one of my home garden tomatoes. How do I prevent this from happening? You really can't. I think you can use neem oil. Maybe that'll work. Other than that, probably not. Thrift Shop Investor. My wife thinks you look like Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley. Stay cool. Never seen it. Don't know who that is, but thanks, I guess. Kilowatt. Obama's first 2 terms sucked, but his 3rd term is the worst yet. And if Trump is screwed again, Obama's 4th term will be apocalyptic. Yeah, imagine Kamala actually being the president of the United States. I don't think that's a good idea. Last Beacon, I have to ask, what is the strongest energy drink you've ever had? That would be NOS, N-O-S, the sugar-free ones. Scottman11, do you think Trump really screwed up with the black population with that interview with the cruel woman? No, I don't think that they give a damn. I think that's white liberal commentators have a problem with it. Nobody else gives a fuck. Matt G. Hammond, have we not been in a recession for some time and the stock market is a lagging indicator of it? Kinda, yeah, kinda, sorta. M1 Dot, if you could please help, trying to save Great Meadow Correctional Facility. Rally is August 4th at 11300 State Route 149, Fort Ann, New York. This is going to kill 650 jobs and 3 towns around it. So if you're in that area and you want to attend a rally, again, that is 11300 State Route 149, Fort Ann, New York. Wasted, good morning from the grave. Is the recession undeniably here? No, but this could just be a foreshock, but it is a foreshock at the very least. So recession is probably coming. Not just a string. For the British clankers, don't go out to any demonstrations regarding recent events in the UK for now. Way too much risk of agitators, escalating events, and getting you arrested. Thanks, Sticks. You're very welcome. Had to do it in a British accent. Rather pause, say piff and puffle poppycock, my good lad. Generation Apollo, young voters support Kamala. No, actually, they support Trump. That's the irony. The older voters like the Democrats right now because they think she represents them, even though she said on camera people 18 to 24 are dumb and made bad choices. Irony. Davidium. I know Trump can't fix all the problems of the past 4 years, but damn, I'm struggling to not go black pill mode if Kamala Mama Ding Dong gets elected. Yeah, it'd be a bad 4 years. Wine Country Stackin sent $5. No comment. Thank you. Let's get to our sponsors before we continue. The super chats keep coming in very rapidly today. I'm trying to keep up. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get various nootropics and mushroom pills and made with organic extracts and are said to boost energy. I use one every morning to maintain my energy level. It seems to work for me, so maybe it'll work for you. So check it out again, cultivated-mind.com. Pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons, glassware, and much more. Ouroboros logo, it's all etched and things like that. Really cool stuff. You should read more books, so you might need more than one bookmark. You know, you got raging ADHD like me, you might have 3 books you're reading at the same time. BiltongUSA.com, the land of Anton's sweet meat. Yes, suck on Anton's meat. Based in Roanoke, Texas, of course. Small business, getting abused by the local town offices, by the way. Anton can hook you up with all sorts of good shit. Angus, Carbonaci, Wagyu, actually, they've got. Also, game meat, although I think they had to switch suppliers. Use code STICKS, by the way, on all of these sites when prompted to do so. and you can get discounts. They've also got tumblers, mugs, and Stick, Sex, and Hammer shirts available. wickedneedleembroidery.bigcartel.com. The land of Stick, Sex, and Hammer hats, which I've worn before. I've got several in the other room. Got to get back into wearing hats, but during a heat wave, I've got long hair. I don't really want to wear a hat during a heat wave. I'll wait until it's a little bit cooler, then I'll be snapping it flashy there. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, where you can get seed survival buckets, Stick, Sex, and Hammer soap with clove, cedar, and blueberry. Also many other soaps available as well, and they're very good. I will personally vouch for those. I used one of them earlier when I showered, actually. And also, there's a new blend that's going to be available soon. We'll definitely be unpacking that when it comes in. Webster'sWares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get various miscellany. It's not just Stick, Sex, and Hammer related stuff there. On that particular page, though, it is. You've got flags, you've got jackets, you've got knives, you've got metal straws that are reusable for your yerba mate or matcha or whatever it happens to be. Probably coffee or something like that, given my core audience. So you don't kill any sea turtles. We've got jamandbean.com, JAMNbean.com, the official Stick, Sex, and Hammer coffee. It is delicious. Test blend number 2 has been greenlit for production, by the way, because it's just as good as the Costa Rica blend. I asked earlier, what's, in the blend, and I can't wait to see what the answer is. So, yeah, you can get your Jam and Bean. Trust me, it's a good idea. If you can smell it through the bag, it's usually pretty good. No, definitely keeps me awake in the morning, keeps me going. And finally, brickmuseum.com, based in Bellaire, Ohio. It is a Lego museum. Legos are fucking cool. They got a massive ass collection, by the way, and it ain't just the Lego sets themselves, it's Lego paraphernalia too. It's a legit museum. And check out their website. You can see pictures of it. It's quite impressive, actually. I think that's some good stuff there. Now, back to the news and super chats. Apache, I can't speak for all black people, but I'm black. No one really cares about Trump's comments. I've seen more people disgusted at Kamala's twerk rally. I can imagine that. It's like, okay, Donald Trump berated the moderator. He always berates the moderator. He's an equal opportunity berater. Nobody gives a fuck. Garrett, I will be volunteering here in Michigan to get people out to vote for Trump and other Republicans. Need more of us millennials reaching out. Where to volunteer? Look up Trump Force 47. All right, so we've got Trump Force 47. Look it up, and you can help to get out the vote, because, the liberals are doing that actively. Republicans tend to be inferior to Democrats when it comes to get out the vote efforts. Last speaking, I like NOS, especially NOS GT Grape. I haven't tried that one. Wasted Stick, shout out my bearded dragon named Lizzie. There are pictures on Twitter right now. Shout out to Lizzie, the bearded dragon pet. Sigil, good morning. The recession is so bad now I have to downgrade the size of skid steer I use to dump shit on Bonehead's mausoleum. Can't afford to fuel up on the big one anymore. Wasted, I don't care if Kamala Harris is black, Indian, or mixed. She's all bitch, just like Sigil. Yeah. BW, I disagree, Sticks. Short-term economic suffering would be better than the complete death Kamia would bring. We'll get to that. And Kilowatt. There's one good thing about Kamala's girl boss shtick at almost 60 with no kids. At least her immediate family tree ends with her. Yeah, I mean, she's not reproducing, so that's the good news. Now we'll get to Kyle Rittenhouse's comments. Kyle Rittenhouse came out earlier and said he'd be writing in a vote for Ron Paul. That is, after posing for a picture with Trump and everything else, and getting material support from Trump and many of his fans, he's decided to sit it out effectively on the election. This is his choice. So this is a dual take here. In defense of Kyle Rittenhouse, nobody should be able to compel him to vote for Trump simply for voting for Trump. It's his choice. It's his vote. He's a member of the militia. He's an adult, a very effective member of the militia. His vote is his. He can write in Mickey Mouse. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. It's his right. Point number 2 in defense, Donald Trump is admittedly not perfect on guns. Remember the bump stock ban and some of these other things. He is fundamentally correct when he criticizes Donald Trump. Then there's, though, against Rittenhouse, the pragmatism argument. The alternative is Kamala Harris is elected. She is more of a hardliner against gun owners and the militia than Joe Biden. Joe Biden talks a big game, but at the end of the day, hasn't really done that much about it. A handful of regulatory attempts that fell apart mainly in the courts, and that's basically he called it a day. Kamala really genuinely seems to hate gun owners and has called for a blanket ban on basically any semi-automatic firearm that exists in the country that isn't a pistol, and probably would call for banning them as well. Oh, those handguns are dangerous. So, well, yeah, I mean, they're used in more shootings than rifles are. Too bad it's mostly gang violence that's related to the Crips and the Bloods and shit like that, cartel activity and stuff like that. That would be a little bit more of a hard pitch. She's come out in favor of outright banning any sort of modern style semi-automatic rifle at the bare minimum, has come out in favor of a federal ban on on standard capacity magazines, which is what YouTube considers high capacity, but they're wrong, has come out in favor of trying to regulate various other things with regards to guns. Donald Trump is superior on the issue. Is he perfect? No. Ron Paul would be perfect. He'd say, fuck the NFA, buy whatever you want, mail order machine guns without an ID. That's good. I definitely support it. I can understand where Rittenhouse is coming from, but you're misreading the room as well at the same time. MAGA totally circled wagons for you. Trump did. Other Republicans did that are associated with him. Commentators like myself, we all had your goddamn complete back because you self-evidently didn't do anything wrong. You're not a murderer. You defended yourself. We had your back for an extended period of time. Aren't you kind of biting the hand that fed you? I would think that at some point that would be the proper moniker for what's going on here. MAGA is better than Kamala Harris. I say that objectively. It's self-evident. I think Rittenhouse would agree, by the way. But doing a protest vote because Donald Trump isn't perfect on a main issue that you support, that's just asinine. Ron Paul's not even running. He's not even in the race. He had an ischemic attack on a live podcast like last year or something like that. He's not running. He'd be better off protest voting for Rand Paul. At least he's actually in office. But I would try to prevail upon him to vote for Donald Trump because Donald Trump had your back in a personal manner. Old fat gamer. Wishing you peace, love, and wellness on this happy Friday. And to you as well. Ray Money. Too bad Lego is pushing drag queen culture to kids. I won't be buying Legos until they make a U-turn. I like the classic Legos. Too bad I'd have to invest like $10,000 to get a collection as big as the one that I had as a kid. Shouldn't have gotten rid of that, by the way. Nick. Sup, Sticks? I've just bought a seed vault from Heritage Heirloom and realized they're right here in my home state of Kansas. Nice. Nick C. Tarl, what's up? Good news. The AR-15 ban law in New Jersey has been overturned by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. Leftists are losing their minds. Yes, I believe I'll be talking about that in the docket tomorrow. Intrinsic. What do you think about the idea of Trump losing the core conservative vote because he disavowed Project 2025? I don't think that that'll happen. Carolyn Borisenko is making that claim now. Yeah, Carolyn Borisenko sometimes has good takes, and sometimes the takes are ice cold and terrible. And so, yeah, I happen to disagree with that. Yeah, so Rittenhouse, he's both right and wrong. Breaking news. Well, I mean, it was hours ago, but the picture on the link in the description says breaking news. Breaking, Japan. Nikkei 225 sees biggest daily drop since Black Monday in 1987. Yes, indeed, the Japanese stock market plummeted, partially because of U.S. unemployment data. What people are worried about is, are we going to have stagflation? If you have sticky inflation and the unemployment rate crawls back up above, let's say, 6% or something, you've got one shitty-ass economy, and that could happen very quickly. I suspect some of it is reabsorption. I'll probably be explaining a little bit about that tomorrow. So that's actually a positive economic indicator. But that's only a fraction of what we're seeing here. That considerable loss of jobs there and increase in unemployment is a very negative economic indicator. And it's affected markets around the world. Dow is down, et cetera, et cetera. NASDAQ, I think, is down. I'm sweating like a stuck pig. I have to keep fucking chugging water. Now, the economists out there are sweating like stuck pigs too. By the way, I always thought that that was a reference to like a pig getting stabbed, like an actual like hog. And it's like, you know, it's dying, so it's like sweating, because pigs tend to be sweaty animals. Apparently it has something to do with metallurgy, though. Pig, like pig iron or something like that. I never knew that. I wonder if any of you knew that. Probably not. It's really, really weird. Anyway, to stop ranting here, you have markets right now doing the shaky. What we don't know is, do they continue? Does the problem metastasize and things are brought to their knees? Which I don't want, even though it would benefit Trump in the electoral sense. I can't root for that. I want every American, regardless of their race, color, or creed, their gender, socioeconomic standing, etc., to make more money and be happier than they are now. Oh, you're as happy as the Dalai Lama? Well, I want you to be so happy that you literally start levitating and giggling. You make $1 million a year? That's great. I want you to make $1.5 million next year. I don't begrudge anyone their success, nor should anyone begrudge me mine. That's just the way that I am. So I can't root for an economic downturn. Like some people are like, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to end up in a recession. And so it'll help Trump get reelected, because the Biden administration will inevitably get stuck with the buck, because the buck stops here. And then people will have a fresh wave of economic suffering. Why would you want that? I don't understand. I can understand the pragmatic reality behind, okay, short-term pain, long-term gain, but I don't want any pain. So I just can't do that. It's just not the way that I think. Let's see. Sigil, Sticks, you greasy wop, get a fan. Yeah, if I get a fan, though, it's going to bleed over into the microphone, and then people will complain. Webster's Wares, morning clankers, free shipping using code STICKS at websterswares.com. New Trump assassination t-shirts available now. More items in this week. Clank on and keep the energy high. Trump 2024, baby. Soap Maker 19, Ischemic Ischemic. 18-year medic begs you. Ischemic attack? I thought it was Ischemic. I've heard it pronounced both ways, though. It's spelled like Ischemic. And we'll be talking about linguistics and my accent, actually, after we get over the news. Briefly mentioning here, Trump wants to stop taxing Social Security benefits. I 100% support this, because the money you've put in has already been taxed, number one. Taxes should always be lower, point number two. And number three, can I please ask people, and I'll be making a full video about this tomorrow, what the fuck more can Donald Trump possibly do to win over economic hardliners? What the hell can he do? He wants to pass 5 deregulatories for every regulation that's created, like he did before. That's good. Eliminate the income tax, eliminate Social Security taxes, hyper deregulate multiple industries, go after the bureaus, support Chevron, etc. Economically, at least, what more can he do? You're sort of like, you're being like Kyle Rittenhouse on guns, because he's not a purist, because he doesn't want to eliminate every tax that you have to pay and basically say, fuck it, we're not going to have a government, we're going to have stateless anarchy, anarcho-capitalism or something, that he's doing something wrong. I hate it when people don't understand basic pragmatism. You have to win to impose policies. Trump could not win on such a platform. He's gone just about as far economically right as he possibly can while still being a viable candidate, and it's never enough. It's like saying, hey, I don't believe in banning people from making credible terroristic threats of violence towards one another in public areas, so I'm not a free speech purist. I don't believe that you should be able to literally own a nuclear weapon, and so I'm not a purist on the Second Amendment. I don't believe that states should be able to do whatever the hell they want without any form of federal oversight whatsoever, so I'm not a purist on the 10th. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I just don't understand people sometimes. You have to operate with pragmatism to get elected. You have to appeal to people. You got to realize you're probably in an echo chamber. The average person doesn't agree with you on certain issues. If you take up a puristic line, 90% of people fucking hate you. That's just the way that it is. That's the way that democratic politics works. We are a democratic republic. We are not an autocratic system in which you can deus vult your way into office and then purge the heretics. Killer Kriegsman, the UK has gone mad the last 3 weeks. Stabbings, violence, police brutality. Face recognition software coming into force. Tommy Robinson arrested for terrorism for not handing his phone code over. Yeah, no, it's gone crazy. I mean, it's been crazy, but it's crazier. Long Dong John. Bill Maher, we need a recession to get rid of Trump. Sticks, I don't want a recession, even though it'll get rid of the Dems. No, Sticks is saying I don't want people to materially suffer. And by the way, part of it's self-serving. Let's say there's a recession. People generally have less money. I'm self-employed. A large proportion of my income comes from merch sponsors who would lose business because people couldn't afford their products as much, and from private individuals who donate to me who wouldn't be able to donate as much. I'm a good capitalist. Part of it is entirely self-serving. I want the economy to soar ahead. Yes, do I want Biden and Kamala Harris to be able to take credit for a good economy? No, I want them to own the lackluster economy that we've had for the last few years. Do I want it to outright collapse so that millions of people suffer in my country? No, I consider that an unpatriotic position. Frederick John. Good morning, Sticks. What do you think of the new Manson single? I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out. DM me on Twitter with the link. I'd love to see that. Also, could you shout out the post-punk and goth rock band Tragic Age? I'll have to check them out too. Thank you very much. I'm always in the mood for new gothy music. Post-punk and goth are pretty great. Let's see. Wasted. If a recession is inevitable, better it affect Biden and the neoliberal ideology than Trump and populism. I mean, that's the mentality. That I can understand. But if you're openly rooting for people to suffer inevitably and simply saying, well, just shift the timing, I can't get behind it. I just can't. And by the way, isn't that a terrible pitch to independent voters? I hope that you get a recession so that you come to your senses. People vote with their wallets. Yes, indeed. If you tell them that you're rooting for that, it's not going to go over well. Again, pragmatism. Now, there's an ancient mummy from Egypt. I'm going to read some of this verbatim. It's quite scary, actually. This is a spooky story. I know that it's not October yet, but, you know, if they had come out with this around Halloween, then people would be getting chills. The mummy of an ancient Egyptian woman with her mouth wide open in what looks like an anguished shriek may have died screaming from agony, researchers say. The unnamed woman mummy, discovered in 1935 archaeological expedition in Deir el-Bahri, near Luxor, was kept in the Cairo Egyptian Museum and referred to as Screaming Woman Mummy of the Store of Qasr al-Aini. Probably mispronouncing that. In an article in the journal Frontiers in Medicine, scientists said they used CT scans and other testing to examine whether the mummy had any pathological abnormalities and assess potential causes of death. They found the woman, who was around 48 years old at the time she died, had lost some teeth and lived with mild arthritis of the spine. Her body was embalmed about 3,500 years ago with high-quality ingredients. Ancient Egyptian mummified bodies, because they believe preserving them after death secured a worthy existence in the afterlife. That's, by the way, only half true. There's much more ritualism, but we won't get into that right now. Usually, internal organs would be removed from the mummification process, but that did not take place with the Screaming Woman. In ancient Egypt, the embalmers took care of the dead body, so it would look beautiful for the afterlife. Link in the description. Very beautiful. You could make out with her. Her mouth is open, you know. That's why they were keen to close the mouth of the dead by tying the jaw to the head to prevent the normal post-mortem jaw drop, leads researcher in the study Cairo University radiology professor Sahar Salim told Reuters news agency, but this had not happened in the case of the Screaming Woman. This opened the way to other explanations of the widely open mouth, that the woman died screaming from agony or pain, and that the muscles of the face contracted to preserve this appearance at the time of death due to cadaveric spasm. And apparently, cadaveric spasm is not fully understood by modern medicine, and that's fucking terrifying. So, unfortunately, it looks like this woman, 3,500 or so years ago, was in incredible pain when she died, and it, I guess, locked her face into that position. They couldn't close it. That's pretty gruesome. Just thought I'd talk. It has nothing to do with politics, but. Comeo325. Well, what if you get this one wrong too? Lichtman would be at over 90%. You'd be at 33% prediction rate. You are incorrect. I am more accurate than Lichtman, actually. And by the way, I haven't made a final prediction because we haven't even had the final presidential debate and don't even know who the competing running mate will be. So right now I'm saying if the election were held today, Trump would win, but I can't make a final prediction. We also don't have anything but chaotic polling data at the moment because you literally just saw the front runner for the Dems decide not to run, and he's been replaced by his VP, Elisha Jones. We are expecting people to be logical and pragmatic. These people are declaring their votes for black and women. It's really scary to see the amount of people saying this is their reason. Oh, there are people who will vote for a candidate just because they're white or male, too. Shoe on the other foot. It's the same id poll bullshit. It's like a David Duke thing, I guess. BB, people are losing their minds over Trump having a lead he never had in 2016 and 2020. By the way, do you think the Trump campaign needs to change course? I think that he needs to be more measured and he needs to stick to the script more. Don't bother putting your foot out there. It's not necessary. Just do your thing and be calm. Kamala will fuck up. She's going to have gaffes. I mean, literally the other day, her first presser as candidate, and she muddles her way through an incoherent mass of word salad. This has happened before. It's going to happen again. Apache, why not let them suffer? They keep voting for this garbage. Well, I didn't. I don't want to suffer. Most of you didn't vote for it either. I don't want you to suffer either. Let them reap what they sow. Why should I wish for their well-being if they don't want it? Yes, but half the country didn't vote in favor of those policies. Well, more than half, but 82 million votes. Scoops of ice cream and shit. Gorgeous Mayhem. To all the JD Vance black pillars, I would have preferred Tulsi, but Vance was a great pick. They would have smeared anyone he picked. Yeah, exactly. Tulsi would have been smeared as a Russian, super homophobic Russian asset. True. The number 6 from Wikipedia. On September 25th, 2020, Paul was hospitalized after slurring his words while speaking during a live stream event. Yes, that was Ron Paul. Wasted. I just want to be on record. I don't want a recession regardless. Speaking of mummies, do you believe in the Pharaoh's curse? Yeah, I've got some questions with regards to everyone that got sick and died and shit like that after they opened the Pharaoh's tomb. Yeah, that was back in the 30s, I believe. There was an In Search Of episode about the mummy's curse. Actually, you should watch it. It's fascinating. Sigil Stone, what if the mummy didn't die screaming but revived and saw her 3,500-year tax bill? She screamed as her soul fucked right back off to the afterlife. Well, imagine that she was like entombed alive or something like that. They thought she was dead. I mean, it does happen. It still happens today, although it's much less common due to embalming. What if she woke up before the embalming process and saw that she was on the slab and died of massive cardiac arrest? Could be. Sigil, and that mummy, is the mummy related to Bonehead? Better book a flight to Egypt just to be safe. Yeah, Bonehead, that might be like your great grandmother or something like that. I don't think I put enough greats in there. Now I wanted to rant about linguistics. This is something that I enjoy. I like language. I like spells. You may have noticed I have an obsession over this topic. Most people don't know anything about it, actually. I wanted to talk about the Connecticut River accent. Sometimes when I mispronounce words, it's because I was raised on the other side of the state of Vermont. So this side, Rutland County, Burlington area, etc., it's kind of like books on tape. It's the Hudson Valley accent. So it sounds sort of like this. It's more higher tones. T's are pronounced. For me, it's only at the beginning of words or after an S, basically. I was raised in the Connecticut River area until I was a teenager. We moved here 2 days before I had to start high school, in other words. So when I say start, I don't say start. I say start. When I say Vermont, I say Vermont. I drop the T at the end of the word. T's are only pronounced in the Connecticut River accent, except rarely, only if they're after an S. So tactics, for instance, I mean, not tactic. I was thinking of a different word. Never mind. Only if they're after an S or at the very beginning of a word. So my name is Tarl. I'll pronounce the T there. But if I said my name in reverse, Larat, it would be Larat, basically. You don't fully pronounce the T. You have rolling D's a lot of what would be apostrophe H's, etc. You may have heard this, and people go down my throat about this, actually, and not in a good, sexy way. They go down my throat about this sometimes because I'll mispronounce a word. Like, I don't know which it is. Is it Maryland, Maryland, Merland? I don't know. I have no clue. When I say don't, I don't say don't. I say don't. I drop the T. It's just the Connecticut River accent. I just wanted to ramble briefly about that because I find it amusing. I like linguistics. I can do books on tape if I consciously think about it. But generally, if I say it, I'm not saying it, I'm saying it. Just like it would be like IH apostrophe or something like that. Just the way I speak. Meanwhile, people on the other side of the state, like this side, if they're raised here, it sounds like books on tape to me. Same with the accent in certain places like Florida, unless it's like a Cuban-infused accent or something like that. Certain parts of the Midwest, similar, actually. It's like, out in them with their cornfields, at least they can pronounce the T. Let's see. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on www.biltongusa.com and www.antonsusa.com. Biltong, get some of the official Clank meat. #ClankNation. Have a great weekend, all. See, look, I can pronounce things properly if I'm reading out a super chat from for Biltong. Cat cans. Maybe someone was chowing her box so good she died with that eternal O face. That's possible. There have been people who have died when they're fucking. Let's just hope that they got their orgasm before their heart gave out, Elisha Jones. Sticks, now that Minds is reintegrating their chat feature to the platform, would you ever accept messages from there? Maybe. Nick C. They think yours is bad. Try the Danby accent. Yes, Danby is a little bit... There are parts of Vermont that are more hillbilly-esque, and there's a different accent. Mostly on the western half of the state, it's Hudson Bay Valley accent, so it's similar to like the Catskills or something. And that's a pretty neutral accent. On the other side, you've got Connecticut River. That's what mainly mine is, although there is an infusion of Rhode Island into my accent as well, and probably some influence from the Hudson since, I was only 15 when I moved here, so there's some influence. But yeah, Danby, where men are men and sheep is scared. There's not a whole lot going on down in Danby, by the way. And by the way, that's very, very close to where I am. Yeah, that's a couple townships south of Rutland City. It's down towards Manchester, but I think it's still in Rutland County. Actually, Danby, there were people from Danby that went to high school, actually, where I was. In fact, is that you, Nick? Like the Nick? I don't know. That might be the Nick that went to high school with me. I think he did live in Danby originally. It's probably the reference. But, yeah, no, Nick doesn't have a weird accent or anything like that. Got Rutlandized. Died doing what she loved but never finished. Yeah, imagine that you die right before you orgasm. And you're like, your last thought is, God damn it. I didn't get to come. Remon CGTC, Mr. Miyake, died by strangling in the sexy act. Mr. Miyake? BW, Sticks, don't you think a recession would be pretty pragmatic at this point? Everything, including the economy, will die forever if Obama wins again. Well, yeah, I mean, I understand the premise, but I just can't bring myself to hope for a recession that causes people to fucking lose their jobs and their homes. Those are real people. I'm not going to wish that. I hope Kamala loses. I hope an asteroid comes out of the sky and destroys her vice presidential limo. That would be hilarious to me, but I don't want her to win, but I don't want other people to have to suffer for that to happen. Honestly, I just want to see Trump crush her in the debate. Mike the Womp. My Rome, New York accent comes out when I'm drunk. Sober, I just sound like a robot. Yeah, Boston accents, that's the real problem. Pack you can have it yad. BB, Long Island equals Long Island. Also, yeah, kind of. People need to know there's a lot of response bias right now. Trump is running a better campaign than in 16 or 20. Exactly. Don't get black-pilled. He is still running ahead, even with the push polls. and the change up and all the chaos, he's still running ahead in both general and swing polling of where he was generally in 2016. And he's light years ahead of where he was in 2020. Mulgara, imagine dying with blue balls or lips. Nightmare. Yeah, that'd be a problem. Imagine dying without having fucked. That would be sad too. You know, you gotta get some of that oral sex going. Nothing better than the taste of an ovulation. Just saying. Apache, sticks, you silly Billy. Left isn't real people. Also, anyone worth their salt will last. Hard times make strong men. That's the thing. I would be a total moron to tell my audience that I wanted a recession anyway, even if I did, because I make six figures and I'm self-employed and I grow a lot of food. Most people are not that lucky, and I don't want anyone in my audience to suffer, so I refuse to hope for such a thing. I just can't get behind it. I'm sorry. I get the basic premise. I understand where people are coming from. Nick, yeah, it's me. Born in Rutland and raised in Danby. I actually worked hard after my Danby accent to sound high school normal. Well, you succeeded. I wouldn't have known. Yeah, Danby does have an interesting accent. For people out there that don't know, Nick, by the way, is my best friend from high school. Still my best and one of my only friends, actually. A part of the cult of Mrs. Rayford's lasagna and garlic bread, by the way. We took multiple classes together. First person that I actually sort of met in high school. I sat down next to him in honors science, and we just sort of hit it off and became friends. Hilarious dude, by the way, does bodybuilding. You should check out his channel. You should definitely watch Yolk Nick. Sorry, I'm just so thirsty from sweating constantly. Holy shit. Yeah, they need to invent air conditioner in Europe and in Vermont, actually. But yeah, Danby is it's pretty remote. Not as much as Shrewsbury, though. There's a little bit more going on. Lots of forests and some farms and stuff like that. It's a nice area. I can imagine, especially when you're younger, and it must get quite boring. The Lo-Fi Piano Guy. Sticks, I love your content, and I hope to be as awesome as you. Can you shout out my channel? Yes, indeed, I can. The Lo-Fi Piano Guy. Do Me Grunt Ventures. Day 5 after wisdom teeth removed. Getting restless and really want some real protein like beef barbecue. Go back in for work tomorrow and should be off the pills at the end of today. Don't take the painkillers. When they took my wisdom teeth out, this is when I was like 14 or something, they gave me like half a bottle of fucking Perks. And if I'd known how much they were worth, I would have fucking sold them, actually. But they just made me vomit, so I dumped them down the toilet. All I did was take ibuprofen and suck on a popsicle. Miku Huntu. Raid side scrollers on Tuesdays, razors usually on. Steady Eddie 1983, Cobra Kai never dies. By the way, I was going to say something. Just a second. Oh, yeah. By the way, my USB splitter right now is on the fritz. I accidentally yanked it out when I was walking past the computer the other day. And so its connection ability is negligible. I've gotten it perfectly balanced so that it's working right now so that I can use my mouse and keyboard. If it fully conks out, I'm not going to be able to do live streaming. I'll have to go to like Home Depot or something like that. And not Home Depot, what's their name? Staples, and get a different one. I do have one on order, but if it conks out, I'll have to get an emergency one quicker. So I'm just pointing that out. By the way, please send no more super chats because at some point here, I got to go offline. It's just too hot for me to continue. I know that it's not even 50 minutes yet, but Jesus Christ, I'm sweating like a stuck pig again. And also I need to harvest a shit ton of cherry tomatoes because there's 1,000 of them out there. It's a problem. Mulgara, imagine, oh, I already read that one. Cat cans, use clove oil for teeth pain. Trust me, instant relief. Yeah, there are things that you can use. Just suck on a popsicle and take an ibuprofen, basically. Don't use the fucking painkillers. That's a bad idea. Put up the purty hair, says Saxon Violets. You sure got purty hair. Put some makeup on you, look just like a girl. That's an old reference, by the way. Purty hair. No, I never put my hair up. And I never will on camera. It's never going to happen. Wildcat Diva, you are incorrect. I actually lived in the Rio Grande Valley for an entire summer and had no problem. The problem is that it's exceptionally humid right now. We're at 100% humidity. That's what's making it so hot. It's more like Florida than Texas. Sigilstone, no super chats, but you said nothing about pooper chats. Yeah, Anno Dave, it's definitely more than 77 degrees right now here in Rutland. Definitely, it's closer to like 85. Also, you got to realize this is a south-facing office with a double large window. And so the sun comes in and there's no ventilation. So in this room, it's actually much hotter. It's definitely not fucking 77. Leo Irony, no man buns for sticks. Absolutely not. You will never see me in a man bun. Once in a while when I'm gardening, I'll put my hair up in a ponytail. I don't know. If I had a bandana on and a leather vest or something, I'd look kind of like a crazy biker dude, I guess. That's okay. But yeah, no, man bun, no, not for me. I like my long hair. It's one of the few things about me that's attractive. I do own a mirror. People aren't exactly riding my face for my dick, Just saying. Wasted Bonehead, sticks to a headbang. I want to see that hair fly around. Maybe when it's drier, because I showered and it's 100% humidity. I'll headbang on video at some point when it's fully dry, not when I'm all sweaty. Also, when I'm sweaty, I don't want anything touching my face. Like I want to pull my hair back behind my ears, and the only reason I'm not doing that is because I don't think I look good that way. Yeah. We're going to talk about oral sex again on Monday. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Can I drag this to the bottom? Just a second, everyone. I'm trying to figure out. Okay. You can do that. They have changed it over on StreamYard. That's great. Thank you, StreamYard, for yeah. Randy Roberts, come a whole lot. Love steers and queers just to annoy us. The Big D, what kind of work do you do? I'm at a crossroad in life and need to figure out my future. I'm self-employed, like quadruple self-employed. I write, I edit, I make videos, and I live stream. And when possible, I try to limit my expenses. And part of that is through gardening because, you can get food for less than 50% of what you would normally get it for. You wouldn't imagine how much fucking okra is out there, for example. Have you seen the price of okra lately? Unless you're in the deep south, then it's probably cheaper. Only sticks. Yeah, I'll talk dirty to all of my female subscribers. I have no problem with this. But keep in mind, I'm, super straight, so, Lala Corveo, boring. Well, you're here, aren't you? So are almost 5,000 other people. Tim, you don't like okra? Fried okra is the greatest. Although we made fried okra the other day, and it tasted amazing. But I waited too long on the pods. They were a little bit too fibrous, like they got too big. Mad Maker is someone who has to be on painkillers to stay out of pain-induced coma due to severe nerve damage. I'll say, oops. If you can never take them, don't. They suck. Wolf on the Plains, Inflation Reduction Act. Please send no more super chats, everyone, please. Funds being laundered through EPA to fund anti-American causes. Nobody's talking about it. Little Nana, if I got a dehumidifier and closed this room up, it wouldn't do jack shit in this level of humidity. It wouldn't work. Yeah, I don't understand. Sometimes people say they hate something. Like they'll say they hate okra, and I'm like, it's delicious. You can pickle okra? You're kidding me. So if I let the pods grow extra large so they are more fibrous, but then I like brine them, it's good? Huh. Joyful Division trying to slut shame me. Good luck. I keep my personal life personal for a reason. Anyways, I do God damn, I didn't know you could pickle okra. Well, I guess I know what my next project is for next year. I was gonna grow fewer okra plants because I'm like, you're overloaded with pods. I guess. Damn. Anyways, I'm going to go offline now. I'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, I can get the USB splitter situation figured out. Oh, Max Attack. Do you have any good chili recipes? Sticks Cookbook when? I do want to make one, but I can't right now. I don't have the time to do so. I haven't even done much of my editing lately because because of the political situation being so in flux. It's just complete, chaos 24/7. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, am I going to have 50 messages from people with news tips? And I wouldn't be surprised if I did. So I guess next year in the garden, we will be doing pickled okra. That's very interesting. I know I want to make curried pickles as well. I made them one year. She made like 100 pints of them. They were enormous and wonderful and delicious, and they were pure fire. But I'll be back Monday, and I'll figure out the news stories for that. Hopefully on Sunday, it's always a slow news day, so I'll figure that out. I'll make my normal videos tomorrow. Keep in mind, follow me on Rumble or BitChute if you want 2 extra videos every day, by the way, because I do make new tech exclusives. Links, of course, in the description. And yeah, I'll go offline now and do the thing. That's about all. Peace out.